Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Is all right? The games come thick and fast. Oh, it's another one coming up very quick. It's the one I've been anticipating. I would have liked to go to this one, but it's only an hour and 15, hour and 20 down the A1. But unfortunately, pandemics, yeah. What can we do? I'm joined by Sam. Sam, we've both been at it at work all day, and here we are, whacking out these vids.
I know. Commitment to the cause, isn't it? A game every 3 days, more or less, now till New Year, isn't it? So, yeah, as you say, thick and fast, but it's all good. It's all good.
It is coming up into tonight's live show. You can tell I'm tired now. We want your interaction in the live chat. We are live on Twitch and we are live on YouTube tonight. What we're going to do, something a little bit different. We're not going to have pictures on. We're going to share a screen and we're going to look at Leeds' last fixtures, take a look at ours, of course, look at the league table. We'll jump on whoscored.com. We'll take a look at Newcastle's last 11. Will that change with Federico Fernandez back in training? But so please get your comments in. So, when you think of Leeds, Sam, do you think of Bielsa first, then the team second?
I think they go hand in hand, don't they? Bielsa's definitely got his stamp on that Leeds team. They're very adventurous, to say the least. Very high press, which could cause us some problems. But yeah, Bielsa's obviously very highly thought of. I know you think a lot of him as well. I don't see the big deal with him personally, but maybe I shouldn't have said that before the game, just in case. But no, it is what it is. Just my opinion. But it's they're a welcome addition to the Premier League, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got a big fan following, haven't they? A bit similar to ourselves. We never win out, the pair of us. I mean, I know Leeds are the last English manager, to win the old Division 1 before it turned to the Premier League. So that was the last English manager to win a top flight title, which is crazy to consider that was 92. Just down the road, it's our nearest game. Obviously, Newcastle's way up in the neck in the woods. We wouldn't have it any other way, being Geordie's, of course not. But what we'll do then is we'll jump straight in. I'll just change the graphics. So there we go, slightly changed. We'll share the screen. Since we're talking about Leeds, because we may as well talk about them first, and then we'll move on to Newcastle a little bit later on. So as you can see, this is the last match that Leeds were playing. And Sam was just asking me off air who was their left back, because they change it that often.
They change it so often, don't they?
They really do, because it's been Rafinha, it's been Dallas has played there. Alioski, you corrected me before. He was involved in obviously the penalty retake the other night against West Ham. Looking at this, the lineup, obviously, probably the few of them that pop out straight away is Bamford started the season fantastically well. I wonder if Southgate will be at this game watching these non-England strikers. He's probably the one. What do you make of his form? Because every time I look at him, I thought, he's not good enough. He's really not good enough. And even when I seen him in the Championship, Sam, I was like, nah, he's not cut out for me. And this season, he just came to life.
Yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, if you're a striker and you get enough chances, you're going to put a few away, aren't they? And one thing Leeds aren't short of is creativity and a high press, getting up into the attacking third, and he's had plenty of chances, and he's taken a few of them. But yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty baffling how many he has scored, because you just look at that team and you think, well, we should be able to cope with that. Rodrigo, obviously, as well, was a flop at Bolton, wasn't he, back in the day?
Done well in La Liga though, and he cost a lot of money. What was it, 26 million or something like that? 24 million?
Yeah, he did. But still, on paper, you'd think we should have enough of that, but obviously football isn't played on paper, because I'm not convinced that's the formation Leeds stick to either, because you see Ayling bomb down the right-hand side. That's more like it.
This is their traditional lineup, isn't it? And this was the last match.
So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, 4-1-4-1. I mean, you can...
Is it a 4-1-4-1? Because it feels like it's like a 2-3-8 or something like that.
Yeah. 2-3 with Calvin Phillips sitting in that hole in midfield, spreading the play around. He's obviously got the England call up. The likes of Isaac Hayden and so on have to wait patiently still. But it's going to be an interesting game. I am slightly worried that it might go a similar way to the Southampton game, which I'm hoping Yeah, and it really undid us. So I'm kind of hoping Bruce tweaks things just slightly, just to kind of adapt to the opposition that we're playing, which he's guilty of not doing sometimes, a lot of the time, always. But yeah, so we shall see. But it's definitely going to be. It might actually be an exciting game for a change, but hopefully it's exciting for us, not just Leeds, because they're in a bit of a bad form, a bit patchy.
Yeah, we'll have a look at their league form in a second. And Newcastle's very shortly, but obviously we know Helder Costa from his Wolves days. Rodrigo to touch upon, Klitsch, Jack Harrison, obviously was on the books of Manchester City, very pacey. Dallas can play left, right in the midfield. He's very capable. Ayling's getting forwards. Calvin Phillips, then we'll talk a little bit about him. Obviously, the comparison that Newcastle fans will make is that a championship player got in the England squad ahead of Isaac Hayden. That's probably what Newcastle fans will probably say. What do you make of Calvin?
I think he's done very well. I was sceptical at first when he saw the England call up. You just kind of roll your eyes every time the England squad's announced because we just keep getting ignored over the years, don't we? But he's adapted to Premier League football seamlessly. He's done really well. He's really impressed in some games. Yeah, he's just a good, solid player in a very attacking team.
And do you think Callum Wilson could be Robin Koch? I've been waiting for the punchline for something along those lines.
Yeah, well, I remember us being linked with him earlier in the transfer window, but obviously we turned Koch down, which
not the first time you've said that.
No, very well. No, I was going to say very true then, but yeah, yeah. So Wilson should have the making, but it just depends. If he's left isolated, then it's going to be a very easy night for Koch and Cooper. So we shall see. I just think this is a game. Maybe 4-4-2 is not the right setup for this game, as Ben said in the comments there. You could actually make an argument to go back to 5 at the back just for this game, just to play devil's advocate slightly. But I don't think we have enough centre backs at this rate to accommodate that. Although, having said that, if Fernandez is back and Hayden slotted in seamlessly against West Brom, didn't he? But I think we'll just line up straight 4-4-2 again, won't we? Yeah,
let's just hope we do test Cooper and we do test Koch, because Koch might be up for a long nighter. I'm just trying to get as many punchlines as I possibly can. I'm feeling miserably there as I've switched on the wrong graphic. That's what happens when you're live. But yeah, so that was obviously Leeds. Obviously with Newcastle, we'll talk briefly on them as well. Fernandez is back in the side, potentially, Sam. Is that a good thing?
Yeah. It could be a good thing. Yeah, you've zoomed it. I was leaning forward then to change the. You can tell we're not used to being live again all that time. What was the question again?
We've seen Fernandez in training.
Yeah,
is he going to come back into the lineup straight away? Is it just an automatic? Because I thought Hayden was brilliant.
He was
contender for man of the match.
I think he did get man of the match, and rightly so. Superb. Yeah, Fernandez, he's been the Iron Man over the past few months, hasn't he? So I would expect him to come back in if he's fully fit and ready to go. Obviously, COVID has knocked a few about in the squad. Isaac Hayden in particular, miraculous display, really, when you think about it on Saturday. And we saw how it knocked out other sportsmen like Lewis Hamilton as well. Really knocked them about. But yeah, Fernandez, you would expect to come back. He's not the quickest in the world, though, is he? So whether will that play to Leeds' strengths? Possibly. I worry about Kraft on the right. Lewis really needs to get back on that field quickly because he had a mare against West Brom, didn't he? So it's going to be one for the attackers. So I just hope we're not left just isolating Callum Wilson, because otherwise it's going to be similar to Southampton, which was just one of the worst displays we've seen in quite some time.
It was. And if you look at Jamal Lewis, obviously he was obviously a foul for Furlong's goal the other day. Leeds are obviously very attacking, which worries me a little bit. Lewis defensively, I think the problem is with your right back situation, you're always going to have that problem. Whoever plays right back, Manquillo maybe, because I think it's a game on Wednesday. Then it's another game against Fulham. Are we going to see changes? Because obviously Gale come off the bench and impress, grab the winner. Obviously, again, how many COVID players are still going to be out? It looks like Fernandes is the only one that's going to return.
Yeah, I mean, this is the argument for playing 5 at the back, because then you could put Murphy on the right-hand side of the kind of back 3/5.
Oh, please, no wing backs. I think that has to go.
Yeah, I don't like it as a general rule. You know me, I'm bleating on about 4-2-3-1 again. But there is, just to play devil's advocate, as I say, there is an argument for going 5 at the back to absorb and counter. And Jacob Murphy was unlucky to be dropped in the first place. He's been absolutely superb, and that cross was just sheer filth. I mean, it's gone 9 o'clock now, so it's safe to watch, because it was just post-watershed, just filth, X-rated. Oof. And he's been superb, a revelation this season. And given the fact, if you're going to line up 4-4-2, you're going to be very rigid. I don't think Almiron likes it on the right-hand side. I know he scored, but he still doesn't look completely comfortable on the right-hand side. And if ASM, for instance, returns, you stick him on the left or the right, then it could get a bit hairy. So I don't know. For me, if we're going to go 4-4-2, I'd actually like to see Joe Linton on the left and start Gale up front with Wilson, personally.
Yeah, it'll be tricky because obviously Leeds play that 4-1-4-1, don't they? Carl's got something on his mind tonight. He's got an injured cock. He's thinking of his injured cock there, because there is rumours that Robin Koch is out injured. Carl, let us know how you get on, mate. But in terms of that lineup again, seriously though, if you look at that, obviously there was a lot of people who came off the bench in a lot of tactical changes, which, let's be honest, we don't normally credit Steve Bruce. He got a spot on in the weekend, and when we gets it right, we'll say he gets it right. When he gets it wrong, we'll come down hard on him. No pun intended.
Still left the subs a bit too late, but credit where credit's due. It worked out well in the end.
So he did change. I don't think he'll start with Richie left back, Murphy right back, Gale and Wilson up top. I think that's too attacking for me. But can you see something similar, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, where he does that again?
Possibly. It was nice to see some attacking intent with substitutions for a change. As you say, putting Richie left back and Murphy kind of right back and really going for it. It makes a welcome change. It was kind of
we were joking on. There was only one defender and Kieran Clark on the whole pitch.
Yeah. And obviously he brought Yedlin on just to shore things up after we got the winner, even though he nearly conceded a penalty. But defender's a defender. But I think the key battle is going to be the midfield, because the midfield, especially in the middle, is where we've had problems. It's looked kind of messy at times. The shape is very, very well. It's completely lacking sometimes, isn't it? The shape of the team, and the midfield is the main culprit of that. I'm seeing some bits of things that people weren't happy with Shelby's performance, and I even saw some criticism for Sean Longstaff, but I don't understand. I think he's been brilliant since he's been back in the team, and the more he's playing, the better he's kind of finding his form. But as I see what Alan's just put, Alan Thompson. I hope it's the Alan Thompson.
Maybe Alan Thompson follows well.
Yeah. He probably will possibly keep the same side after winning. Maybe one change, as we said earlier, with Fernandes bringing him back in, but it really wouldn't surprise me seeing Hayden, because he was just slotted in seamlessly, effortless, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Hayden, I mean, he started there a few times for Arsenal and the youth teams, didn't he? But there's a few people who might get a run out with it being a midweek game, because if it's not the Leeds game, it'll definitely be Fulham game. There'll be changes. So it's one of the two. So you might see Matty might get a run out. Gale expected to start. I mean, Gale deserves it because he's got the winner. You might see a couple of changes, maybe Yedlin. I know Yedlin come off the bench, but there might be one or two surprises. I don't think it'll be loads, man. I don't think it'll be more than 2 or 3, because we've already got I wouldn't say depleted squad. Bruce
said that a few might be back for this game, so a few more might be back from the COVID situation.
Hendrick,
I hope not.
And he dropped, and he Fordy was on the channel the other day, and he's saying he's joking on. He dropped his son. He actually dropped his son. But again, Hendricks might be another one that comes in. He could
No,
be.
it's definitely for Hendrick.
Well, we don't want him to, but you could see why if he does come in though. If Bruce goes for him because he hasn't played and he's fresh. That's me worry about Mr. Hendrick. Obviously, he's got a lot of proved Newcastle fans.
If he's shoved out on the right again, then that's the main problem, that the shape has been in that midfield. When Hendrick's on the right-hand side, he doesn't really adapt as well, because we did a similar thing back in the day with Joey Barton, didn't he? Stick him out on the right. But that kind of worked because Barton didn't play as narrow as Hendrick did, and then the shape just all goes to pot, and then we're just overrun, and it just looks a complete mess. So I think with this game in particular, with the way Leeds play, this is not a game for Jeff Hendrick.
Let's take a look where we are on the league table. Obviously, Newcastle sitting mighty high in 12th place, dizzy heights. Of course, we do have a game in hand over Leeds, so we're only 3 points behind us. So Leeds could overtake us with a 2-3 goal win against us. Arsenal, look at Arsenal. I've seen a lot of kickoffs with AFTV online the last 24 hours. They're in dire straits. But
surely Arsenal and like West Ham should swap places. What are West Ham doing there?
Yeah, look where West Ham are. The 6th in the league, and the flying 9. We beat West Ham.
West Ham as well, didn't we?
We did. And you look at that West Ham. You never know. Look where they are, man. I mean, the league's so tight because if Newcastle win, Sam, if we win our game in hand, we go level with West Ham, which is mental. That's how tight the league is. I know we don't play great football. Of course we didn't. But I think the league is, obviously the Manchester clubs are slowly going up the table now. I think it will start to settle probably in the new year eventually. But Leeds, obviously, they're going to be safe, aren't they? They're 6 points clear. Is it the manager factor, the capability, why their adaptability and the high press, and a Leeds staying up just because of Bielsa?
No. They got off to a really good start, didn't they? It wouldn't surprise me in the long run to see them drop down to like where Brighton and Burnley are. It really wouldn't. Because remember, last season, Norwich started off in a similar ilk, and they dropped like a stone. But I think the difference is this season that Sheffield United and West Brom have started so poorly. Fulham looked okay yesterday, actually. We've got to be wary of them on Saturday, but let's get Leeds out of the way first. I think Leeds will be fine, but because the bottom 4 or 5 will be cemented down there for the duration. So Leeds may have been found out a little bit. They're there to be scored against. The problem is...
Look at that, yeah, 22. Second worst in the league.
Exactly, but we're not a team that lets the handbrake off and has some real attacking threat. We're just too cautious, it seems. So maybe this is the one where we need to let the handbrake off, and I'm just waiting for the day that Ryan Fraser is in that starting 11.
Oh, it'd be great to have a fully fit Ryan Fraser, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It really would. Before we take a look at the last few fixtures, let's have a look what you're saying in the live chat as well as I zoom in on Sam's beautiful face once again.
Fresh from quiz victory last night.
Yeah, you won the victory. Well done. Yeah, totally. I'll run you close. Is it the quarterfinal 8 to 9 days? Yeah, it's a week from now, isn't it? Roughly. It's next. It's Fulham after Leeds, then Brentford, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Christmas.
Yeah, and then happy Merry Christmas. We're doing some Christmas videos as well, so keep an eye out for the good wishes as well. Ben says only reason Hayden might not play because it's having COVID quite bad. Maybe worth resting him. Not sure what you lad think.
That's a really good point.
Could see it. Like we were just saying, just literally a minute or two back. If there's not rotation in this game, I think it will be Fulham. We'll not play the thing.
I think that's a really good point, actually, Ben. That is a really good point because it's obviously took a lot out of him. We know how bad it is for some people, and taking him out after the way he played at the weekend probably isn't a bad thing, especially when Fernandez is back.
Yeah, Carlos will be with us on the live stream, as in the comments as well. Matty and Gail, we've touched upon that as well. It's going to be a tricky match, Wolfstone. Yeah, it's going to be. It could be gold, isn't it? Leeds obviously don't do many 0-0s. Newcastle might score a few. Who knows? We can dream. Alan says we must counter the press Leeds do. Obviously, you mentioned Brighton and Southampton. You mentioned Southampton a little bit earlier, Sam.
Yeah, because Southampton dealt with our counter-attack attempts very, very easily. which was really concerning. So I
We're
don't
just
want
going long. All we did, we couldn't cope with Southampton. We're just going long. So I hope
to.
that's not the case. I hope we've got a bit of nous about us and when we're on the ball and we didn't just go long because Wilson's going to be wasted. And Leeds do give you a lot of room. We've just got to get a hold of the ball for 5. And I think that's why I know people are criticising Shelvey. If Shelvey can get on the ball and hold it and spray it, you could cut Leeds open.
Well, this is the thing. I thought his passing was superb at the weekend. And that, as you say, quite rightly say, this is a game for him to be pinging the balls around to the wings and making things happen from deep. But one positive thing I would say is we've got a fantastic record at Leeds.
Yeah, I remember 2-0 win last time. Gale double when he was doing all that, wasn't he? And the championship.
4-3, Solano.
Yeah, last minute in the call. That was one of the quiz questions, wasn't it? Or was it not? I can't remember. I can't remember what day it is yesterday, man. Let's take a look at Leeds' form guide. As you touched upon, started off very, very well. Of course they did. But if you look further down, you've got a few odds here. Sam's a good betting man as well. So if you want to know your bets, check Sam out for that. But yeah, they started to drop off a little bit. What's it? 1 win in 6, is it? Or 7 even. If you look at this, obviously battered by Leicester, battered by Palace of all teams as well. Leeds 0-0. Most circumstances, you would say that's a good point, but Arsenal are very indifferent in the minute. Great away win, fantastic away win, away at Everton. Chelsea wouldn't expect them to get nothing. West Ham, a little bit surprised that they got beat there, but they're not in the best of form. It doesn't worry you, Sam, that eventually it will turn and Bielsa doesn't lose many games in a row.
No, very true. Very true, but it's there to be a good competitive game, isn't there? Look, we've won our last 2 games. They've lost their last 2 games. We should be the ones going into this full of confidence, not worried about what Leeds can bring. Let's say what we can bring. Joe Linton 2 assists in 2 games, and Gale that finish. I think him and Wilson. I think this is a game for them. I'm not convinced it will happen. Maybe it's a bit too early for Gale to be starting, but I would like to see it. I'm not going to lie. I would like to see it. Is ASM back? Who knows? Is Fraser back?
Do you feel like we need runners in this game? Because Leeds are going to outrun us. Leeds outrun most teams. So I've seen a couple of comments already. If you now mention a Matt Ritchie with his leadership and his non-stop running, is he the guy who's a must starter for you?
Not necessarily, because he lacks a yard of pace, doesn't he? I do like Ritchie. I'd love him to bits. That's an argument for maybe bringing him in at left back and taking Jamal Lewis out, possibly just for this one. If you're going to really try and put, he's injured still.
How? Because he had he came back for the under-20s, where he's had a setback, and it's. I'm not saying Jamal Lewis is a bad player. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to jump on him. Defensively, he does have these issues which he can work on. But again, offensively, that could be another weapon that we've got if Jamal Lewis does start, because it just takes one through ball and Leeds are cut up and they've got the second worst defence in the league. And that's why I think, although Shelvey doesn't do necessarily running, he might need runners alongside him in centre midfield. Just one through pass by Shelvey and you could set Wilson free, Gale free, whoever it is. Phillips, that's a key one as well. We talked about that. If he gets a lot of freedom, he's great at spraying the passes as well, long ball. So that could be someone like a Miguel Miron. All of that as well. Can we have an NUFC Fans Present of the Year vote this year? Twitter poll.
Just put you for in the comments.
Yeah, just put Lee. Yeah, thank you. But in terms of, let's have a look at Newcastle's form guide. We don't normally talk about Newcastle's form guide. Really, we normally look at the opposition, don't we, when it comes to this. So let's have a look at Newcastle's form guide in case you've forgotten where we are. Let's open this up. I think this is Leeds, Have I opened up Leeds? I have. I've opened up Leeds. Great. Newcastle, right next to it. There we go. Yeah, you mentioned obviously Sam already. We've won 2 in a row. We looked at these 4 fixtures in the league: Palace, West Brom, Leeds, and Fulham as winnable, because we had a bit of a tough start, a bit of a tough run with, you talk about Man United, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, Chelsea. That was a tough run. And obviously we've got 6 from 6. What you expect in the next 2 games? 10 from 12 or 12 from 12 or 9 from 12?
Look, I think it's a tricky one. Tomorrow, it's going to be really interesting at Leeds. The Fulham game, they played really well against Liverpool, and they definitely were worth their point that they achieved. That could be trickier than we make out, and I know we beat West Brom, but we do tend to struggle to put away the teams at the bottom, which was why it was so nice to see us get the better of West Brom in the end. Look, we've won our last two. Its confidence should be high. I'd like to see Wilson get back on the score sheet after a game where he didn't. One win goes by without Callum Wilson scoring. Who'd have thought it? I would like to see Joe Linton move on to the wing and Gale up front, but I don't think that'll happen. When was the last time we won 3 in a row?
Oh, that's a great question for a quiz, isn't it, Sam? Sam, I'll let Sam think on that as well whilst I go through the live chat. Need Sean in there for the legs as well.
Got a great engine as Sean. Great engine.
Yeah, and Matty has as well. So if Matty ever gets to run out, that is.
The thing is with Matty, I can see him going out on loan in January. He looked. Yeah. I know he came on a little while ago, didn't he, as a sub for like the last 10 minutes, and he looked a bit rusty. I mean, that's pretty much Steve Bruce's fault anyway for bringing in freaking Bentaleb at the back end of last year. But it is what it is.
Yeah, totally agree on that. I think Shelby captain. It's interesting that he makes captain and not like Fernandez or Clark, because they seem to be more natural leaders.
Argument for Hayden as well.
Yeah, not necessarily. You don't have to have quiet lads to be captains as well. This is the Leeds actual squad itself. Obviously, we've touched upon 1 or 2 players as well. Is there anybody else? Pablo Hernandez, obviously, he's well known, of course. Getting on a bit, isn't he?
I tell you who I like. I like Clich.
Oh, you're saying it exotically.
Clich.
Where is he? Where have I seen him? There he is.
On the right.
There you go.
I think he's a real rock solid midfielder, and he can make stuff happen. I like him. I think he's one to keep an eye on.
Do you reckon he's a Premier League footballer in terms of every year?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, he's. I mean, I had him in my fantasy team up until very recently, and he scored some steady points. So that's probably why I like him so much.
I'll tell you who I like from Leeds is Stuart Dallas. Obviously, Northern Ireland winger. Haaland's a big fan of him. I don't know if you've seen when Northern Ireland played Norway, Haaland went over to Dallas and asked for his shirt. Because Haaland was born in Leeds, of course, and his dad, Alfie, plays for them as well. But Dallas, left, right, workhorse, set midfield, good engine on him, bit of pace as well. I quite like Dallas. I think he's a little bit underrated. And since we are talking about Leeds as well, this is just a few stats from Leeds as well. If you look at the goals, it's quite reliant on Bamford, very similar to us, where we rely on.
Look, he was in second.
Yeah, that man, click. And then obviously we're quite reliant on Wilson, so it's similar to that. And Helder's got a couple of goals as well, and then they're all filling in with 1 each. And
3 assists for Clich as well.
Yeah, he seems to. I've spotted a man there. Maybe I should sign him for Football Manager. And if you look at the who scored and strengths versus weaknesses, I think that's a little bit harsh on Leeds' strengths because they only have creating chances through individual skill who have scored them. I think that's a bit tad harsh.
Yeah,
where's the high press? That'll be the number one. I think of Leeds straight away. Not afraid to have shot on goal, chucking bodies forward. I know there's a lot of obviously weakness here. In that as well. Interesting what they've got them listed as the style of play. They go down the right, which was interesting.
Well, if they go down the right, that should be of concern to us after the weekend because West Brom went down the right and that's where they caused us most problems.
Keep a hold of the ball. Possession football, play with width.
Well, that'll suit us because we don't want the ball.
Playing them with all half and consistent first. I don't agree with that. The consistent first 11. I think there was a few changes made by Bielsa as well.
Aerial duels was in there for a weakness, which I found interesting because that would then.
If you can see that was in the West. I was watching the West Ham game. That was picked up on as well. Defending attacked on the wing, defending set pieces, defending very weak. They've got listed as skillful players. So you think of ASM, don't you? And obviously they give you a lot of chances. So Newcastle do need to get on the ball a lot on the weekend. I keep saying the weekend, it's not, it's midweek on there for you. Let's have a look before what everybody is saying in the live chat. This game is on Amazon as well. There's a link in the top of the description if you haven't got your free trial for Amazon, because there's 2 games this month. There is Leeds and Liverpool at the back end, New Year. And they've got several of other league games as well. So get yourself on Amazon. You can't miss it. Top of the description.
Les Ferdinand, lead pundit on Wednesday for the Leeds Newcastle game. So friend of the channel, Sir Les.
Yeah, Sir Les nearly makes me cry. Score prediction, Sam, whilst I'm going through these comments.
1-1.
I was going to, no, I'll say 2-2. I think there will be goals in it because Leeds like a score and they do give you chances. I'd love to say 3-3, but I'm not brave enough to say that. I'm going to say 2-2 for this as well.
I'm going to make a goal scorer prediction as well, because the last two games in the WhatsApp, NFTV lads WhatsApp, at Palace before the game, I said Joe Linton would score. He scored. Before West Brom, I said Sean Longstaff would score a 25-yard screamer, and he had an attempt and a really good one, but the keeper saved it. I am going to say Andy Carroll will come on and score our equaliser.
His first ever goal. So what's the odds on Andy Carroll coming off the bench to score?
Andy Carroll, last goal scorer. There you go. There's one.
Obviously, you're an expert in the business, but what would be the odds for that?
Well, I don't have them in the back of my head, do I?
No, if you just made that up now for a request to bet, what would you give us?
Ooh, Andy Carroll, last goal scorer.
Yeah, off the bench as well.
8-1.
Oh, it's got to be higher than that, man.
I'm very stingy with my prices. And I tell you why I've said that is because the aerial duels and defending from set pieces has intrigued me there with them little stats that you've put up. So yeah, that's why I've said that. I think we'll be pumping it long towards the Koch towards the end of the game. There you go.
If I was an odds maker, I would probably have that to probably 80-1. Andy Carroll off the bench last minute win. That's how high it is. That's a rare it's going to happen. But yeah, Rehan said, Newcastle fan from New York City. Always go to this channel. Thank you very much for the compliment. New York is a beautiful city. I've been there twice. Absolutely loved it. Seen a New York City game, seen a Red Bulls game, baseball as well. I've been to Yankee Stadium a couple of times. Absolutely brilliant.
And I haven't.
And Sam hasn't. No, but I am actually looking at trying to get away again in first week in February, depending on the COVID situation. Council go for his coats and badges, can't play anywhere anymore. Well,
hey, what did I say? I've just been on odds checker. Andy Carroll, last scorer with a certain company, 8-1.
That all it is? 8-1. Nah, that wouldn't. It's got to be.
If you play, you get your money back, don't you? Because it counts as a non.
It's got to be 80-1. Coming up on the channel tomorrow over on NFTV Extra. Sam, you can tell us about it.
Yeah, tomorrow 8:00 NFTV Extra. Myself and Johnny Greenwood and Mulliner show with Newcastle United Foundation Chief Steve Harrell. Really, really poignant, insightful, inspiring interview we had with Steve Harrell. It's really, really good and very, very relevant at the moment as well with mental health, and we all know the situation. So yeah, it's really good. It's one of the best ones we've done, I think, actually. So yeah, please do tune in on NFTV Extra tomorrow at 8.
Yeah, that's our second channel, NFTV Extra, where we bring you Greenwood and Mulliner show. You've got the under-23 news, women's news, non-league vlogs, which I'm hoping to get back to, depending on what tier system we get put into on Wednesday, which is probably tier 3, so that might be put on hold. But yeah, check that out, NFTV Extra. Would love you to subscribe to that because we do want to build it. And then on Wednesday night, we do it all again. So we'll have the watch-along. I'll be doing the first 45, 50 minutes until Carl takes over with Adam, and then after the watch along, we've got the live score from the players, the fan reaction. So we want you to get involved. It was a great show on Saturday, getting the regulars in. We want some new faces, and of course, we've got what else? We've got the last words.
Quick thoughts with Johnny. It is on Wednesday again.
Johnny's doing quick thoughts again Wednesday. Yeah, so keep an eye on all the videos, and please go over and head over. 25-yard screamer. Ben will hold you that. Don't want to lose a derby, given it's the closest team at a distance. John, I wouldn't say it's a derby because just an hour and 20 minutes away. Leeds' biggest rivals are Man United, and then it's Chelsea second, believe it or not. This is mental. But that's it. That is it. That is your wrap, Mr. Mulliner. Thank you very much for your company. I shall see you in a couple of days. Please like the video. That does help us. Take care. Enjoy your night, everyone. See you Wednesday.